the incentives are always in the wrong place. The kind of stories that I want to talk about on the Young Turks and do talk about on the Young Turks get no attention. They don't do well in terms of the number of views. I want to talk about international news. I want to talk about what's happening in Brazil. I want to talk about what's happening in Ecuador. It'll get like maybe 40,000 views at most. You know what gets a lot of views? I don't know, Anna Kasparian destroys this person, or here's the latest cat fight. Like, I hate it. It's garbage.
Dude, she knows. She's totally... You could see her mind kind of hiccup there. You know what gets the biggest number of views? White cop shoots black guy. But she's like, wait a second, I can't say that.
Yeah.
I'm in a live debate. That's gonna give what is Ben gonna respond to that? So
well, that's what I'm saying. Put your money where your mouth is. Okay. I want to see you actually not be a hypocrite going forward in the future. I want to see you cover the real stories you want to, and not the fake cultural stories. But I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm sure they fell for the Covington nonsense. I'm sure they're on board for all of this fucking nonsense.
Every nonsense story, every fake news story, they 100% fall for.
How did they cover the school shooter that turned out to be black that got out on $25,000 bail and is like partying with his family the next day?
That's a good question.
I'm so curious about that.
I mean, Sean always brings up, that story of that girl that was a little girl that was shot, and when they thought it was a white guy wearing a red sweater, so it was like a MAGA sweater, and they thought that he shot the girl. There was like a million stories. Everyone's covering this. Young Turks covering, this white guy, probably racist, shot this little black girl. And then when it turned out, like, nope, it was a black guy. Suddenly that story magically
disappears.
It fades away into the wind like a dandelion, just goes whee.
Now nobody's interested in the story. I wonder why.
No.
Yeah, you could tell. There was a moment there. Did you feel it? The moment when she was like, white cop, black guy. No, probably shouldn't say that. What am I going to say? She's like, Anna Kasparian, beat, destroys, beat.
Now, to be fair, I don't know how many of these videos Anna Kasparian was in herself, but these are the titles of the Young Turks videos from yesterday and today. Trump rioter reaps what she sows.
Okay.
She gets COVID. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Trump spits straight racism at Haitians.
They're still riding the Trump train. No fucking way.
I mean, Trump was dumb to say that comment about the Haitians, but let's see. Anti-vax protesters weren't expecting to be humiliated. NFL coach caught in a big scandal. I don't know if you know about that one. That one's so dumb.
No.
There's like a voicemail of some coach from like 20 years ago saying that some player had like lips as big as Michelin tires.
What did Anna say in the beginning of this about digging up things from 2009?
I know, you're right.
Was it 2009?
Right. Yep. Her own network.
How long ago was 20 years ago? 2001?
I don't think she's in that video, but I mean, it's on her network.
Oh, okay.
And that video has the most views of all the videos they did.
Really?
In yesterday. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yesterday, there's one that actually the highest viewed video. They have two more that are higher. They have David Chappelle jokes about trans people. And racist crybaby upset that he's now an outcast.
Racist because he.
They're talking about Richard Spencer.
Oh, okay. I
don't know why he's back in the news, but
because they're milking that race tite.
I say.
Yeah, the racism teat is their whole shtick.
So there you go.
And you wonder why? What was I saying about animosity in the black community? Makes people animosity makes people turn to crime. It's not a race thing; it's a people thing.
Yeah. So there you go. Anna's network, the Young Turks, doing all the things she's criticizing right now.
Yeah,
still doing it. Yep. Surprising, but
it was beautiful seeing her skip. You saw it too, right?
What?
You could see that little look around in her head, like, oh, that's a dead end. Don't go down that dead end.
She had to pause there for a second. She's like, wait a minute.
You saw it, didn't you? Let's back it up.
I saw it.
Let's back it up. Let's back it up. Let's all enjoy it together.
Okay.
You know what gets a lot of views?
Oh,
views. I want to talk about international news. I want to talk about what's happening in
Here it
Brazil.
is.
I want to talk about what's happening. It'll get like maybe 40,000 views at most. You know what gets a lot of views? I don't know. Anna Kasparian destroys this.
she literally says, I don't know.
She was about to say, and then she was like, wait a minute, I don't know.
She literally says, she looks out at the audience and she goes,
Uh-oh.
I don't know. Oh, it's tototally real.
That's
it's
hilarious.
totally real. She knows. She knows, dude. She's probably been to Jank a million. Jank, I think maybe we're hitting the race thing a little hard here. Shut up, Anna. Shut up. We're getting rich off this.
At the dinner table, we're having an interesting conversation. It's clearly a generational thing. My generation grew up watching Walter Cronkite and Huntley and Brinkley and all these folks. And one of the things that I saw in your bio was that
My generation grew up listening to journalists that actually had this thing called journalistic ethics and actually loved the country. Your generation hates the country for racism because they grew up listening to the Young Turks who did it for the money. She did it for the money, guys.
you got interested in the field because of Barbara Walters. So what happens now to the Barbara Walters? I mean, where does news reporting go? Will the nightly news be a thing of the past? And are we simply going to continue to retreat to those mediums that demonstrate that we know everything already? Where's this going to go now?
Well, let me just note, I loved Barbara Walters on ABC's 2020. So I remember as a kid, you know, like getting super excited after TGIF was over because ABC's 2020 would be on. And I was
Nerd! Oh, Jesus. Can you imagine being a child excited for the news?
What's wrong with that?
Everything.
Why?
You should be watching cartoon shows and playing with Pogs like a good kid.
I remember I must have been in 5th grade, which would make me 10 years old. I asked my mom, what is the difference between Democrats and Republicans? And I was really expecting to get to the bottom of this, and you know what she said to me?
What'd she say?
I can't tell.
And thus Adam was thrown into a life of centrism ever since.
It was very disappointing.
That's hilarious.
It was very, very disappointing to me. Yes. Yes. And I've been on a mission ever since.
But you know what? That's good for your mom, because most parents would just say like, oh, whatever they are is like the good side and the other side is the bad side.
I guess my mom really didn't care about politics at all.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I was like fascinated by the fact that this woman was getting paid to talk to these incredibly interesting people from around the world. And I was just fascinated by the conversations. That's how I got interested in journalism and the media. But I just feel like the type of conversations that she had, or just news about world events, they don't seem to attract the kind of attention that they used to. And it might be because of an oversaturated market. It might be because conflict tends to sell. Manufactured conflicts tend to sell. But I wish we can get back to a place where journalism still really existed, where there was like ethical standards that were, that reporters abided by, anchors abided by. I wish there was a clear.
If you can't say, I wish.
I know.
I wish we could go back to the days of Walter Cronkite with ethical journalism. You can't cry about that when you're a fucking journalist and you could just do this at any point in your life or your career. You can say, you know what? I'm going to lead by example. I'm going to be the shining journalist city on a hilltop that everyone can look to and follow. You don't get to fucking cry about that, Anna, if you're in that position of power and you're not changing shit.
I don't know. Didn't Tim Pool try this and ended up kind of going down semi-partisan route? I remember that video that Tim made about, he basically just bared his entire soul. He's like, I spend a whole day making a well-researched video and it's just not cutting it.
Yeah.
Something has to change here.
True.
Yeah. And then he started vomiting out 5 videos a day that were just him ranting about the coming civil war. And now he's a bazillionaire. I mean, you have to talk about the incentives.
Let's talk about the civil war that's coming.
Oh, fucking ethics. Do you really want to play that game? I don't know. It seems I can't.
That's a lot of money. And I am a capitalist.
We would literally be lying, though. These people, I think, these people are better at lying to themselves.
Listen, we'll do it. We'll very slowly start lying to ourselves first, so we don't realize that we're lying to everyone else.
I have a couple $1 million ideas. I have one that I'm thinking about working on after, like in earnest, working on after the comic book is done. Yeah, that's a Tim Pool Wealth type idea.
There you go. But just back to the topic, I'd have no sympathy. This is like the Vosh argument, okay? The guy, this is the Hassan goes and he preaches all the socialism he wants, and then he turns around and buys a mansion in, like the richest neighborhood in the fucking country. Okay. It's like, if you're in that position of power, fuck you. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on. You don't get to whine about not being able to change things when you literally can change things, and you just choose not to because you want money. Fuck you. I don't tell you.
Man, it's so dumb. I guess.
I mean, we're dumb, but listen, at least we're moral.
Well, I'm just saying, it's just the investment opportunities open to Hassan.
True.
So sad. So sad.